Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. This is another paid request, this time from Mr. Leeman. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos, commentaries, reviews, topics, ranks lists, reactions, re-reviews, whatever, feel free to send them either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for the two-part pilot of Beast Wars, a Transformers cartoon from around 1990, give or take. Which I will admit, I didn't grow up a tremendous amount with Transformers. I've seen the movies. Even the animated movie, I'm not really a fan of. I like the music more than the movie. Because I remember seeing bits of the show and not minding it. And then when I saw the movie, I went, wow, the people I liked are dead. Optimus Prime is dead. All these other people are dead. Fuck that. And fuck Hot Rod. And he's an asshole. And what the fuck is this dare to be stupid? Dare to be stupid? This is so off the beaten path. That's out of place. But I love the soundtrack. You got the touch. You got the power. Like, dare to believe. Like, I like those songs though, and the music by Vince DiCola. But the movie itself, I've never been a fan of. I'm sorry, because I'm like, who fuck these new characters? What about the characters I remember seeing a few episodes and liking them, and oh, there's a movie, and then that, in a way, that turned me off of the rest of the series. I know it's not fair, but I'm like, well, fuck. And I know they did it because they want to sell more, new toys. I'm like, fuck this. I'm alone in that, though. Again, I'm alone. I'm like, why can't if Optimus Prime was the star of the movie, that'd be cool. And then Michael Bay Transformers, the first one, I'm like, oh, Optimus Prime is the star, kinda. But then, the way that franchise went, and then Michael Bay producing those bullshit Ninja Turtle movies, kind of made me turn on the first Transformers. I went, fuck, man. There's some fun spectacle. There's some good special effects. And the music's not too bad, the score, but it's like, oh, man. I don't need Bumblebee pissing on John Turturro, and I don't need pop brownies. I don't need dogs fucking. Dog fucking, like, anyway. Sorry, all that to get to this, where I didn't follow much of the shows compared to like Ninja Turtles, which I did. And so I watched this, and I'm like, wow, this animation is really awful, because it's that 90s CG animation, kind of like years before. I think it was on ABC. You had Reboot, where they're trying to explore the early avenues of CG animation, and it's really rough to look at. Really rough, stilted, antiquated. I wish this would just have utilized the old school animation, or even anime type of animation, because it's hard to look at this type of CG anime. I'm sorry, but despite that, if you excuse the dipshit derpy crap, I'm sorry, I'm not going nice on that. It looks awful. I'm like, you know what, you should have just gone with the old school animation, whether the 80s kind or stuff that was going on in the 90s. Batman the Animated Series, for fuck's sake, that type of animation, it would have been much better. But there was good voice work, actual decent attempt at building characters, and the actual story, voice work, the fact that they're making each of these characters unique, that was rather good for a 90s cartoon. And if that's why people like this show, I can see why, based on the two-part pilot. Again, I just wish they had not gone with this crappy CG animation. To me, it just looks dog shit. Even back in the day, I would have said this was dog shit. But the setup is, you have these two groups. It takes place hundreds and hundreds of years after the original Transformers. And so you have the bad guys, the Predacons, and then you have the good guys. And there's about 4 or 5 of them. because you have your main good guy, kind of this version of Optimus Prime. I think it's called Optimal. What do you mean you think? Because I'm not the best with names. I apologize. Because you have, how do I put it? They land on a planet after one's being attacked by the other. The good guys and the bad guys. They land on this planet. This planet has this energy source that if they're in their fighting form too long, they're going to short circuit. They're going to get affected. So then they have to form this alternate animal form to protect themselves from the environment. So that's why the bad guys, they're more of the either spider, scorpion, T-Rex, pterodactyl, and the good guys, one's a cheetah, one's a gorilla, one's a rat, one's a rhino. Because this energon, the long-term effect of it, again, if they're in the fighting robot form, it'll fuck them up, so they gotta mostly stay. And then, again, even at first I'm going, what the fuck is this deal? Like, it wasn't the best first impression. And I know I'm bumbling and fumbling around, but I'm trying to gauge my first impression of how at first I'm like, oh my god, this is going to be painful because it's awful CG. And now they're not vehicles which seem cooler. Now they're animals. So one's, I'm Cheetor. The word is spot on smooth. Like that's the dialogue. The word is spot on smooth. It's a crime. I'm Cheetor. And like, one becomes a rat, so he names himself Rat Trap. I went, oh my god, what is this? What has Mr. Leeman got me into? And yeah, at first it's four. No, a rat, cheetah, rhino, gorilla, and then the bad guys. But then the voices, I'm starting to listen to more and more. I'm like, okay, the voices aren't too bad. The lead voice is Derry Chalk, and that voice sounded familiar. The gorilla, the Optimal Prime. Derry Chalk was the sheriff in Freddy vs. Jason, and he actually played the villain Scorby, one of the henchman villains, in The Fly 2. In The Fly 2, which my neighbor's rooster approves. Yep, I like The Fly 2 as well. I think that's a pretty decent creature feature. Scorby is the guy that the fly bends backwards and breaks his back. He's the voice of the lead in this. I thought he did a rather good job, and the other voices were unique and differentiated itself. Like the rat was like a New Yorker, like a Brooklyn type of voice. And each one was showcasing their personality, even in this initial episode. The leader is willing to sacrifice himself to save his teammates. The rat one is a bit of a chicken shit who's like, screw that, I'm not going to go out there. You do it. I'm not going out there to get punctured. I'm not going out there to get shot. So he's the guy that wants to escape from a fight. You have the Cheetor who runs full force in the battle. The Rhino guy is more of the muscle guy. And they're actually doing a decent enough attempt at trying to build up these characters. And even the villain side, this one villain, Dinobot, I believe his name, he tries to fight Megatron, who named himself after the Megatron of old, challenges him to be leader. He gets fucked over. He finds these good guys. He challenges Optimal to be a leader. And then that gets into episode 2 where they're fighting on this piece of rock with a large chasm down below. And the good guy knocks him the fuck out. And again, the sword fight. And the Dinobot, the villain, actually, there's a bit more to his character because he has this actual sense of honor. And then they go back and forth with that. And apparently my neighbor's roosters, he's screaming in shock. Yeah, they actually do more of an attempt to build characters in this first two episodes than all of the Michael Bay Transformer films combined. And that's what kind of boggled my mind, is that they're actually treating these as characters. Like they're fighting. And Optimus Prime. I keep wanting to call him Optimus. I can't help it, but he knocks him the fuck out. Then they have a sword fight. Then one's ready to go down, and the bad guy lets him up. No, I want to win. I want to win with honor. I want to win fair. Let's go. And then when the bad guys come and attack, the good guy's holding the Dinobot, and the Dinobot's like, let me go. And the good guy's like, where's the honor in that? Like, I'm like, am I really seeing character development in Transformers? I thought that was a thing that doesn't exist. At least based on Michael Bay's, 5, 6 films he made. And he didn't do any of that. Go fucking figure. And some annoying things other than the CGI animation. When they have to transform, they've got to go to each fucking one, terrorize changes, terrorize changes. Then the good guys, maximize changes, maximize. Like, there's like 4 or 5 over here, 5 over there. So now that's like 9, 10 characters that you have to sit there and have them say the same word or maximize, terrorize, and then change. And I guess they did that in both episodes, so I'm assuming they do that in every fucking episode. I'm like, oh my god. Can you skip this part? Like, can you skip this? No? Like, okay. I saw it once, alright. Saw it again, because of the crappy animation. It's not really cool to watch. And I'm like, just waiting for it to get going. Because like, terrorize. Here's number 2. There's number 3. Then there's number 4. There's a number 5. Or terrorize. Then good guy, maximize. Terrorize, maximize. Oh, Christ. It's been like 5 minutes. That's what it feels like. Get on with it. But anyway, they escape. Dinobot and I'm just going to call him Optimus. Fuck it. They have an understanding. The rat trap doesn't trust him. So there's like a bit of, do you trust this guy? Do you not? There's a bit of tension in the group. Anger between the two. Anger between Rat Trap and Optimus. Anger between Rat Trap and this Dinobot guy. Do we trust him? Do we not? At least the good guys do kick some ass. Like this Optimus does kick some ass. Whether punching people in the face or shooting at them. It's not just a fucking pussy. Like they probably make him today. If Kevin Smith made him, he would. If Kevin Smith made it, Optimus Prime would die sooner than he did in the 80s movie. Then they shit on him for dying. Then he would come back just to get stabbed. Not die, then get stabbed so that RC can be the fucking new Optimus Prime in part 2. That's what Kevin Smith would do. And Netflix. So there you go. And that these characters can actually get hurt. Like during the big fight at the end where you gotta get this mountain with this energy they need. Optimus gets bit in the leg and a chunk of it gets taken out. And like Dinobot helps Optimus out. I'm like, so did we just witness a swerve where a bad guy has become a good guy in the span of these 2 episodes? I'm like, again, I gotta commend the voice actors and the writing for actually attempting to build a bit of a decent character story amidst this. And I'm like, okay, if that's why people like the show, I can see why. Because it's not the animation. And that's the thing, I would say, again, if you get rid of some of the cringy jokes like, how about you try a piece of this bad kitty? That's what Cheetor says at one point, because he's a cheetah. It's like, if you get rid of some of those cringy lines. If the animation was more of the classic or even 90s type of animation, I did yeah like Spider-Man, Man, X-Men, the even Ninja Turtles, all that jazz. That would have been better. Yeah, if you just fixed a few things of that nature, then it would have been fantastic. Maybe that's stretching it, but it would have been great. As it is, I thought, oh, this is pretty decent. As it is, I thought, okay, this is pretty decent. So, props to the voice actors and the writers to make up for the. I guess at the time they thought this was cutting edge. They made a bad call because time has not been kind to this shit. But I do think it's shit. I can't help it. I keep harping on it because it's awful to look at. Bad first impressions, but it got better and wasn't that bad. Wasn't that bad at all. So, with that said, thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you guys later. Bye bye.